This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association, your source for the latest Iowa ag news headlines right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, Mark Magnuson, and Andy Peterson. Now from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Mark.
Hello and welcome into Ag Matters PM on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Mark Magnuson. Today is Monday, October 6th, 2025, and we're so glad you can join us for today's show. In today's episode, I will be joined by Sam Trainor of agmarket.net for our closing market discussion. But first, it is a video from the recent presentation by Choose Iowa with the Iowa Department of Ag and Land Stewardship and Iowa Secretary of Agriculture Mike Naig, as he announced the awarding of the Butchery Innovation Grants from Choose Iowa.
Well, we're here to make an announcement about the Choose Iowa Butchery Innovation Grants. And this is all about helping Iowa consumers access more locally grown protein. Of course, we go back and we say this creation of Choose Iowa, which is our state's signature branded program for Iowa grown, Iowa made, Iowa raised, really comes out of the COVID era where we had a disrupted supply chain, but it was also met with an undeniable increasing demand that consumers really in Iowa and around the country are showing for wanting to buy local, shop local, and support local farmers and local businesses. We created Choose Iowa coming out of that sort of era, and now are expanding nearly 300 members of Choose Iowa all across the state. And one of the key sectors, or one of the strongest sectors of Choose Iowa, is around meat processing and selling protein or selling meat direct to consumer. Now, one piece of Choose Iowa, it's a marketing program for, again, Iowa grown, Iowa made, Iowa raised, but one piece of that is to provide grants. And butchery grants are one of those grants that we provide. Before I get into the details, I want to thank Ben Drescher with Iowa State with Cirrus. Ben, thanks for your work and your team on reviewing these grants, making sure that they were great projects that were ready to go. And as you're going to hear, we had demand exceeded our ability to fund, which means some great projects didn't get funded. But what we know is that the very best projects did. And I want to thank Ben for that work. Tucker, here we are at Maxwell Custom Beef. And I don't know if you'll talk about it, but we also have Amy and Kent who are here, the previous owners. Generational business, multiple generations. And it was so nice to meet you and hear a little bit of history here. And Tucker, relatively new owner, but exciting times for what's ahead for Maxwell Custom Beef. And Tucker will tell you a little bit more about his background and how he got into this. But we're thrilled to be able to be here this morning. So we've got rising demand for fresh and local products, as I mentioned, including meat in particular. And it further strengthens our $20 billion livestock industry through, again, producing high-quality products. But we also need to be able to process those products if we're going to get them on the plate for consumers. This is really building on the strength of a program that came out of the COVID era, but then was taken over by Economic Development Authority and now has moved under the Choose Iowa umbrella. So it's really the continuation of that, our first year running it as the Iowa Department of Ag. Authorized by the legislature, $250,000 now annual appropriation. So what we're working with here today is an appropriation from 24 and from 25. Maximum grant amounts are $100,000, and it requires a 1-to-1 match. And so every one of these projects that I'll announce, just remember that that's got a significant investment on the part of the owner-operator as well. So we received 23 applications requesting $1.5 million. Clearly, demand outpaced our ability to fund. It just shows and drives home the demand for expanding our state's meat processing capacity. And I think underscores what we're committed to is an ongoing investment in that processing capacity. It absolutely helps foster small business growth in big and small communities all across the state. Again, you'll be hearing that in the announcement here. Total grants awarded $355,000, leveraging a $1.94 million investment total. So that's a great, we think that's good leverage for this program. Helps small businesses, especially in rural areas with equipment and facility needs, new smokehouses, freezer and cooler systems, processing line expansions, and equipment modernization. So now I'd like to make the announcement of who has been awarded Weaver Meats in Afton, Cherokee Locker in Cherokee, Maxwell Custom Beef right here in Des Moines, Tiefenthaler Quality Meats in Holstein, Milo Locker in Milo, Fridrickson's Meat Company in Sutherland, Skogland's Meats in West Bend, Winthrop Locker in Winthrop, and Yetter Locker in Yetter. So all 9 fantastic projects that will have a significant impact on their communities and their customer base. So I do want to just thank all the supporters in the legislature for this ongoing investment, the industry for what they've done to serve the needs and expand this sector within the state. And I want to encourage Iowans to shop local. Go to chooseiowa.com. You can find all manner of products, everything from cut flowers to honey to beverages to certainly protein, fruits and vegetables, you name it. You can find all of the above in the Choose Iowa directory, and we're excited about what's to come. I know it doesn't feel like it this morning, but I would just remind you that Christmas shopping right around the corner. You should do it at chooseiowa.com this year. Buy local and surprise some folks for Christmas this year. So I would like again to thank everybody involved.
That was Iowa Secretary of Agriculture Mike Naig. Coming up next, it is the closing markets. I will be joined by Sam Trainor of agmarket.net. But first, a word from the Iowa Soybean Association and the Soybean Checkoff.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
Time now for closing markets here on Ag Matters PM, and I'm joined by Sam Trainor of agmarket.net. Sam, what did we see with the trade in the grains today?
It was a very quiet trading day today, Mark. Starting out the week, obviously light on news with the government shutdown, so not a whole lot driving this market. Corn futures were just a bit higher, soybeans just a bit lower, but like I said, just lack of news and a lack of really any momentum one way or the other. This market just seems tired right now, and without any driving factors, no real direction.
Do we have any indication of what that means for trading volume then, with so much uncertainty and so much lack of, like you said, news and no official reports to go off of? What's that doing to the volume?
Yeah, volume's been very, very low. There's just not a whole lot getting done right now. The bulk of the volume right now is coming from the commercials, just with hedge pressure. As farmers are selling their crops off the scale, they are hedging themselves with some shorts there on the board, but very, very light managed money trading and fund trading. Obviously, they're basing their decisions off of data that is being put out there, and we're not getting any of that data. So like I said, it's just been very, very quiet here the last 6 days or so, and look for that to remain the same here until we get some sort of agreement reached or something to get things going in the right direction.
Now, I know you're located in Illinois, but here in central Iowa, we did get a little bit of a shot of rain last night that tamped down some of that dust a little bit because it is so dry. It has been warm. At the same time, we've had those nearly ideal conditions for harvest. I would imagine we made quite a bit of progress in the last week or so.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was just talking here over the weekend, driving around in my area. I actually went a little bit east this weekend over into Indiana near Crawfordsville, and you were pretty hard pressed to find any bean fields that were still standing, and a lot of combines running in corn. We're pretty well wrapped up on bean harvest, and with lack of rain, I know we had chances of rain here this afternoon into tomorrow, but those chances keep diminishing. So it looks like maybe we might stay dry for a little while here. And, if with today's machinery and operations the way they are nowadays, I wouldn't imagine it's going to take a whole lot longer to get this crop all but finished up on both corn and beans.
What's the trade look like on the livestock side of the markets today?
Started out firm this week, have feeder cattle sharply higher, up over $5. Live cattle not far behind, up over $2. So a nice strong start to the week here. Again, not a whole lot's changed there on the fundamental side of things. Cash trade still remains firm. And we have taken quite a bit of a breather here off of that market. We've seen a little bit of selling here as of late, but recovering here today with a nice up day. And then on the hog side of things, a very quiet day, right around unchanged there in the December hog. So not a whole lot going on there, but nice to see the cattle recover here and start the week on a high note.
He is Sam Trainor with agmarket.net, my guest here for Closing Markets. What's the best way for our viewers to get in touch for more marketing information?
Best way would be to visit our website at agmarket.net, or you could give us a phone call at 1-800-779-1515.
Lots of great resources from the team at agmarket.net. Check out their website if you get a chance. Sam, thanks so much for the time. Always appreciate it, and have a great rest of your day.
All right, you bet, Mark. Thanks again.
That was Sam Trainor of agmarket.net. Thank you to Sam for joining today's show. Let's take a look at the closing market numbers, and you can find that information anytime under the Markets tab of our website at iowaagnet.com.
December corn closes up 2 3/4 at 421 3/4. November soybeans down 1/4 cent at 1017 3/4. December soybean meal down $1.50 at $277.10. December soybean oil up 33 cents at $50.38. Chicago wheat down 2 1/2 at $512 3/4. Minneapolis wheat is down 3 cents at $5.57. Kansas City hard red wheat down 1 1/2 at $4.95 1/2. December oats down 10 1/2 at $2.88 3/4. On the Merc, October live cattle up 85 cents at $231.88. October feeder cattle up 5.23 at $362.40. December lean hogs down 3 cents at $87.28. December pork cutout unchanged at $97.38. Class 3 milk down 20 cents at $17.01.
That wraps up our closing markets for today and brings us to the end of today's show. You can find all of our content on our website at iowaagnet.com. You can follow us on social media at Facebook and X, and you can also listen to our morning, midday, and closing market podcasts, as well as our daily episodes of our Iowa Ag Matters podcast at Apple, Amazon, Spotify, YouTube, and Podbean. From the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network studios in Des Moines, I'm Mark Magnuson. For Riley Smith, Dustin Huffman, and Andy Peterson, we thank you for watching Ag Matters PM.